In the dusty frontier town of Willow Creek, where the sun baked the earth like a forgotten loaf of bread and the wind whispered secrets through the saloons, a lone cowboy named Jack Harlan rode in under a cloud of controversy. Accused of rustling cattle from the wealthy rancher Elias Thorne, Jack found himself clapped in irons and dragged before Sheriff Harlan, no relation, just a cruel twist of fate. The sheriff, a grizzled man with a mustache like a broom and as sharp as cactus spines, peered down at Jack from the makeshift courtroom in the town hall. "Boy, you've got two choices," the sheriff growled, his voice echoing off the wooden walls. "Hang for your crimes or settle down here in Willow Creek. Prove you're worth something, by Maureen, one of our women and workin' the land honest like." The crowd murmured, a mix of farmers, shopkeepers, and wide-eyed children peering through the windows. Jack, his hat tipped back to reveal a face weathered by years on the trail, scanned the room. Beautiful belles in calico dresses fluttered their fans, hoping to catch his eye, the daughters of prominent families, slim and graceful as prairie deer. But Jack's gaze landed on a figure in the corner, a young woman named Eliza Moore, who sat alone, her ample frame spilling over the edges of her chair, her eyes downcast as if the floorboards held some hidden treasure. "Choose any woman you want, cowboy," the sheriff said with a smirk, expecting the obvious. Jack straightened, his voice steady as a loaded gun. "Then I'll marry the obese girl." The town erupted in gasps and whispers. Elisa's head snapped up, her cheeks flushing crimson beneath the freckles that dotted her round face. She was the baker's daughter, known for her pies that could make a man's heart sing, but also for the cruel nicknames that followed her like shadows, Big Eliza, the hefty heartbreaker. No suitor had ever glanced her way twice, not with her size drawing stares and snickers from the townsfolk. Jack, however, saw something else in her eyes, a quiet strength, like a river running deep beneath the surface. As the sheriff banged his gavel to seal the deal, Jack was led away to prepare for the wedding, his mind racing. It never rustled those cattle. It was a frame-up by Thorne, who wanted Jack's family land back east. But proving innocence in a town bought by Thorne's gold seemed impossible. Marrying Elisa? It was a gamble, but in her solitude, Jack recognized his own, a wanderer with no roots, no one to call home. That night, as stars blanketed the sky like scattered diamonds, Jack sat in his cell, pondering the path ahead. Little did he know, this choice would unravel secrets buried deeper than any gold mine. Eliza Moore had grown up in Willow Creek, the only child of a widowed baker who taught her the art of kneading dough and folding in love with every crust. But love for herself? That was a recipe she'd never mastered. At 25, she weighed more than most men in town, her body a testament to years of sampling her own creations and hiding from the world's judgments behind layers of flour and fabric. Children teased her, women pitied her, and men ignored her, except when they needed a sympathy ear or a free pastry. Elisa dreamed of adventure, of riding off into sunsets like the heroes in her dime novels, but reality pinned her down like a heavy quilt. When the sheriff announced Jack's choice, she felt a storm brew inside, anger, confusion, hope? Was this pity, or something real? The wedding was set for dawn, a simple affair under the old oak tree by the creek. As Eliza donned her mother's altered wedding gown, straining at the seams but shimmering with faded lace, she whispered to her reflection, "Why me?" The town buzzed with speculation. Was Jack mocking her? Or was he blind? Only Jack knew the truth. He'd overheard Eliza once, defending a stray dog from boys with stones, her voice fierce and kind. In that moment, he'd seen a soul worth betting on. The ceremony unfolded like a scene from a tall tale. The preacher, sweat beading on his brow, stumbled over vows as the crowd shifted uneasily. Jack, cleaned up in a borrowed suit, took Eliza's hand, soft and warm, like fresh bread from the oven. "I do," he said, his eyes locking on hers, searching for the spark he suspected lay hidden. Elisa, trembling, echoed the words, her heart pounding like a war drum. As rings were exchanged, simple bands from the general store, the sheriff nodded approval, and the town dispersed, whispering bets on how long this charity match would last. Jack and Eliza moved into a small cabin on the edge of town, gifted by the sheriff as part of the deal. Their first days were awkward silences broken by clattering pots and hesitant conversations. Jack worked the fields, his muscles aching from honest labor he'd long avoided, while Eliza baked, her kitchen a haven of cinnamon and warmth. One evening, as thunder rumbled outside, Jack confessed over supper, "I ain't no rustler, Elisa. Dorme set me up, 'cause he wants my inheritance." She set down her fork, her eyes widening. "Then why choose me?" The pretty ones would have fought for you. Jack leaned back, a small smile tugging his lips. Because pretty fades, but kindness? That's golf. I saw you with that dog, selfies, estron. Reminded me of my ma, God rest her. As weeks turned to months, an unexpected bond formed. Jack taught Eliza to ride horseback, her laughter echoing as she gripped the saddle, her fears melting away with each gallop. In return, she shared stories from her books, painting pictures of far-off lands that ignited Jack's wanderlust in new ways. But shadows loomed, thorns men lurked, sabotaging their crops with salted earth and stolen tools. The town, divided, offered little help, some pitied the odd couple, others mocked. Eliza's self-doubt crept in like weeds. They laugh at us, Jack. At me. One night, after a particularly cruel jibe from a saloon patron, she broke down, tears soaking her apron. Why burden yourself with someone like me? Jack knelt before her, his calloused hands cupping her face. Burden? You're my anchor, Eliza. In a world of shallow streams, you're the deep well. It was a profound realization for both. Jack, the drifter, found purpose in her steadiness. Eliza, the overlooked, discovered worth in his gaze. But the real turn came when a fire ravaged Thorne's ranch, sparked by lightning or sabotage, no one knew. Thorne, desperate, accused Jack anew, rallying a posse. The climax brewed on a stormy afternoon, the sky bruised purple as thunder cracked like gunfire. Thorne's men surrounded the cabin, demanding Jack's surrender. Inside, Eliza barricaded the door, her heart racing. Drone, Jack. Drove the back. But Jack stood firm, rifle in hand. Not without you. As shots rang out, splintering wood, Eliza grabbed a hidden pouch from her drawer, gold coins she'd saved from years of baking, meant for a dream escape. Take this, bribe them, she urged. But Jack shook his head. In that moment, amid the chaos, he realized the depth of her selflessness. She'd give everything for him, a stranger turned companion. Pushing her to safety, Jack stepped out, hands raised. Torne. These hands now. The rancher sneered, you and your fat wife ain't worth the bullets. Rage flared in Jack, but instead of violence, he chose words. Eliza's worth more than your empire. Sis kind where you're cruel, generous where you're greedy. The posse hesitated, whispers spreading, many owed Eliza favors, her pies mending broken hearts, her listening ear soothing troubles. One by one, they lowered their guns, turning on Thorne, revealing his embezzlement schemes from ledgers they'd seen. In the aftermath, Thorne was arrested, his lies exposed by a brave deputy inspired by Eliza's quiet courage. The town, transformed, rallied around the couple. Jack's name cleared, he could leave, but he stayed, building a life with Eliza. Their cabin grew into a home, filled with laughter and the scent of fresh bread. Eliza, empowered, started a bakery school, teaching women of all shapes to embrace their strengths. Jack farmed sustainably, sharing harvests with the needy. Their love, born of choice and compassion, became legend. Years later, as they sat on their porch watching sunsets, Jack turned to Eliza. Best decision I ever made. She smiled, her eyes sparkling. Kindness isn't a weakness, Jack, it's the truest power. And in Willow Creek, where once judgment ruled, humanity flourished, proving that true beauty lies in the heart's generous beat.